Welcome to a journey few dare to take into the heart of a gospel long forgotten, and yet perhaps never more relevant than now. Discovered in 1945 in the sands of Upper Egypt, hidden among the manuscripts of the Nag Hammadi Library, the Gospel of Thomas stunned the world. Containing 114 mysterious sayings attributed to Jesus of Nazareth, this ancient text offers a glimpse into a side of Christ's teaching that challenges tradition and stirs the soul, often called the secret sayings of Jesus. These words reveal a vision of the divine that is deeply personal, inward, and radically different from the dogmas of institutional religion. Written likely in the 2nd century, the Gospel of Thomas reflects an early Christian path untethered to Rome. Independent, mystical, and rich with spiritual insight. Like the Dead Sea Scrolls, it speaks from the fringes of faith, where the boundaries blur and seekers awaken. But this gospel doesn't aim to establish rules. It whispers mysteries meant to be discovered. These are the secret sayings that the living Jesus spoke, and Didymus Judas Thomas recorded. So begins the text. And then a promise. Whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death. This is no ordinary scripture. It is a riddle, a mirror, a path for those willing to search beyond the surface. Jesus said, "Let the one who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will be disturbed. When he is disturbed, he will marvel, and he will reign over all." These are words not meant to be recited, but wrestled with. Because in this gospel, the kingdom of God isn't in the sky or in the sea. It's within you. And until you come to know yourself, Jesus says, you remain in poverty. Not material poverty, but the poverty of the soul. Another line speaks clearly to the restless modern mind. Know what is in front of your face, and what is hidden from you will be revealed. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed. This is a gospel that dares you to wake up, to be present, to see clearly what's before you, and find within it the doorway to something eternal. We ask, should we pray more, give to charity, follow a strict diet? But Jesus in this gospel turns our questions inward. Do not tell lies, he says, and do not do what you hate. For all things are disclosed before heaven. Nothing hidden will remain concealed. It's not about outward rituals. It's about truth within us. To live authentically, to stop pretending, to stop performing. When we align with truth, we don't need to chase heaven. Heaven begins to unfold within us. Then comes one of the most puzzling, powerful images. Blessed is the lion that the human eats, so the lion becomes human. Cursed is the human that the lion eats, so the lion becomes human. A riddle wrapped in flesh and spirit. But perhaps it means this. When we consume what is fierce, we are transformed. When we allow our lower nature to consume us, we vanish into it. What we take in, ideas, wisdom, spirit, shapes what we become. Jesus continues, the kingdom is like a wise fisherman. He drew up his net full of small fish, but found one large and fine fish. So he threw the rest back and kept the best. In a sea of noise, truth is the one clear note. In a world of distractions, we must learn to choose what truly nourishes the soul. Then a quiet but urgent invitation. Look at the living one while you are alive, lest you seek him after death and fail to find him. Spiritual awakening is not for someday. It is for now, for this breath, this moment. Don't wait until life slips through your fingers. And he warns, if you do not fast from the world, you will not find the Father's kingdom. If you do not observe the Sabbath as Sabbath, you will not see the Father. Fasting here is not just from food. It's from noise, ego, distraction. Sabbath isn't only a day. It's a way of being, still, aware, open to the sacred. Then Jesus reveals something profoundly intimate. I am the light that is over all things. I am all. From me all came forth, and to me all return. Split a piece of wood. I am there. Lift a stone. You will find me there. The divine isn't locked in temples or buried in scripture. It is in every breath, every tree, every stone. When our eyes open, the whole world becomes holy. He offers another parable. The kingdom is like a man who had a treasure in his field, but he didn't know. He died and left it to his son. The son, unaware, sold the field. The buyer discovered the treasure and lent money to whoever he wished. How often do we walk atop treasure, blind to what's beneath our feet? Spiritual truth is not always obvious, but when uncovered, it changes everything. And finally, a story simple yet haunting. The Father's kingdom is like a woman carrying a jar full of meal. The jar broke as she walked, spilling the meal behind her. She reached home, set the jar down, and saw it was empty. Sometimes we lose what's sacred without even knowing it. Not because we rebel, but because we drift. And yet, the path she walked was marked with traces of the kingdom. If only she had turned around and noticed. These are not just sayings. They are seeds planted in the soul. Some disturb, some awaken, but all invite us to dig deeper, to listen closer, and perhaps to remember something we've always known. Jesus said, "You are like a fish that has been caught on a hook. The hook has killed you, and you cannot see it." It's a piercing metaphor. Many of us live ensnared by invisible hooks, desires, fears, attachments we mistake for freedom. But the moment we become aware of them, we begin to awaken. He then says, "When you see one who was not born of woman, prostrate yourselves and worship him, for that one is your Father." The divine may not appear in the form we expect. It may not wear robes or speak in thunder. But if our hearts are open, we'll recognize him in the most unexpected places. Jesus continues, "Perhaps you think I came to bring peace to the world. No, I came to cast fire, sword, war. A household will divide, 3 against 2, 2 against 3, and they will stand solitary." This is not the gentle Jesus of Sunday school. This is the Jesus who disrupts comfort, who breaks illusions. The spiritual path is not always peaceful. Sometimes it splits families, shatters identities, and leaves us standing alone, but awake. And yet there's a holy purpose in this fire. "I have cast fire upon the world," he says, "and look, I am guarding it until it blazes." This fire is not destruction. It is transformation. Truth burns away what is false, and only what's eternal will remain. The disciples ask, "Tell us how our end will be." Jesus answers not with a prophecy, but a paradox. Have you discovered the beginning, that you now seek the end? Blessed is the one who stands at the beginning, for that one will know the end and will not taste death. To know the end, you must return to where it all began. In the stillness before thought, in the silence beneath identity, that's where eternity begins. And again, a mysterious blessing. Blessed is the person who came into being before coming into being. He speaks to a truth beyond the body, of a self that existed before birth and will outlast death. Jesus tells them, "If you become my disciples and listen closely to my words, even the stones will serve you. For there are 5 trees in paradise that never change, summer or winter. Their leaves do not fall. Whoever comes to know them will not experience death." 5 trees, eternal, undying. Perhaps they are symbols of divine truth, of unshakable wisdom, or virtues hidden deep within us. But to know them is to enter into life that cannot perish. Then a simple image. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds. But when it falls on good soil, it becomes a great tree and shelters the birds of the sky. This is how truth begins, quiet, overlooked, but in the soil of a seeking heart, it becomes something vast, something that gives life to others. Finally, Mary asks, "What are your disciples like?" Jesus answers, "They are like little children living in a field that is not theirs. When the owners come, they will say, 'Give us back our field.'" Innocent, unaware, vulnerable, but also free. The disciples are like children in borrowed time and space, called not to possess, but to awaken, to return what was never theirs, and remember who they truly are. The Gospel of Thomas does not offer easy answers. It does not comfort. It confronts. But if you listen closely, if you dare to wrestle with its riddles, you may find, as many have before, that the one you're seeking has been within you all along. Jesus once said, "They will take off their clothes before them to return the field." Like children returning what was never truly theirs, we too are called to let go of control, of pride, of possessions. Only then can we walk in freedom. If the owner of the house knows a thief is coming, he will stay awake and not let his house be broken into. The house is your soul. The thief is distraction, desire, ego. Stay awake, because spiritual sleep is the easiest way to lose what matters most. And again, he warns, you read the signs in the sky, but you do not recognize what stands before your face. We seek signs and wonders, but miss the sacred in the everyday. We long for heaven, yet forget the divine is already whispering through this very moment. I will choose one from 1,000, and two from 10,000, and they shall become a single one. Spiritual awakening is rare, but it happens. And when it does, the scattered parts of our soul, fragmented by fear and pain, begin to gather into wholeness. There is a light within a person of light, and it shines upon the whole world. But if it does not shine, it is darkness. You carry the flame. If you nurture it, the world becomes brighter. If you hide it, the world dims with you. Jesus says, love your brother as yourself. Guard him like the pupil of your eye. Because spiritual wisdom without compassion is empty. To love God is to love others, with tenderness, with vigilance, with fierce gentleness. You see the speck in your brother's eye, but not the log in your own. We're so quick to judge. But the true path begins not with pointing fingers, but with turning inward. Heal yourself, and only then can you help heal others. Again, he reminds us, if you do not fast from the world, you will not find the Father's kingdom. If you do not observe the Sabbath as Sabbath, you will not see the Father. It is not about rules, it's about rhythm, rest, awareness, a willingness to step away from the noise and return to stillness where God still speaks. And finally, Jesus says, I stood in the midst of the world, and I appeared to them in the flesh, but I found them all intoxicated, none of them thirsty, and my soul was afflicted. He saw us, restless, distracted, numb, forgetting we came into this world empty, and we will leave it just the same. What matters is not what we collect, but what we awaken to. And he ends with a riddle for the soul. If the flesh came from spirit, what a wonder. But if spirit came from the flesh, what a wonder of wonders. Perhaps we are not merely flesh-seeking spirit, but spirit, momentarily clothed in flesh, remembering its origin. The Gospel of Thomas doesn't ask you to believe. It dares you to wake up, to seek, to listen, not to priests or temples or dogmas, but to the whisper of eternity already living inside you. Because the kingdom is not coming. It is here, it is now, and it is within you. Jesus said, where there are 3 gods, they are gods. Where there are 2 or 1, I am with that one. Divine presence doesn't need numbers or temples. It needs only awareness. One heart turned toward truth is enough for the divine to dwell. He also said, no prophet is accepted in his own village. No physician heals those who know him. Sometimes the ones closest to us are the last to see us. Familiarity breeds blindness, but those who carry truth must not shrink from resistance. Rejection is not a sign of failure. It's the shadow cast by light. A city built on a high hill cannot fall. It cannot be hidden. When truth rises, it shines. When love is lived, it becomes unshakable. If your soul has seen something real, don't hide it. Don't dim it. Let it blaze like a lamp on a stand for all who pass to see. What you hear in one ear, he said, proclaim from the rooftops. Truth is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be shared, to illuminate, to ignite. Don't whisper what was meant to burn. And yet, discernment matters. If a blind person leads another blind person, both will fall into a hole. Not every teacher leads to light. Not every voice speaks truth. We must learn to listen, not with ears only, but with spirit. Let your soul be your compass. No one can enter the house of a strong man unless they first bind his hands. Spiritual transformation is no small task. The illusions we cling to, fear, pride, ego, are strong. To change, we must confront them head on. Tie them down. Take back what was always ours. Clarity, peace, light. And yet Jesus reminds us, do not worry from morning to evening, or evening to morning about what you will wear. What you wear, what you own, what people think, all of it. Temporary garments on a passing wind. Trust the one who made you. Trust that all you truly need, you already have. Finally, the disciples asked, when will you appear to us? When will we see you? And Jesus answered, When you strip naked without shame and place your clothes beneath your feet like little children, then you will see the Son of the Living One, and you will not be afraid. To see him, we must strip away everything that covers us: fear, ego, reputation. We must return to the innocence of children, unashamed, unhidden, free. Only then can we see. Only then can we know. Only then will we no longer be afraid. The Gospel of Thomas is not a book. It's a mirror, a fire, a whisper that dares to become a roar. It does not hand you answers. It gives you questions, holy ones, questions that disturb, awaken, and if you're willing, transform. The kingdom is not coming. It's already here. And perhaps it has always been within you. Jesus said, "Many times you have desired to hear these sayings, and there was no one else to speak them. A day will come when you will seek me, and you will not find me." Spiritual truth is not always available on demand. There is urgency here, a reminder that moments of clarity are gifts. When they arrive, we must listen. When they disappear, we must remember. He warned of the gatekeepers. The Pharisees and scribes have taken the keys of knowledge and hidden them. They have not entered, nor have they allowed others to enter. There are those who use religion to control, rather than to liberate. True seekers must be brave enough to question, wise enough to search beyond tradition. The path is not in systems, it's in the heart. A grapevine planted outside the Father will be uprooted. What is not rooted in truth will not last. Appearances may fool, but only what is born of love, of spirit, of the Father will bear real fruit. And then he speaks of the paradox of growth. Whoever has something in hand will be given more, but whoever has nothing will be deprived even of what they have. Spiritual momentum matters. If you take one step in truth, more light will come. But if you hold nothing, no desire, no openness, truth will slip through your fingers. And in just 3 words, he reveals everything. Be passers-by. This world is not your home. Do not cling. Do not hoard. Walk lightly. Live freely. The more you let go, the more space there is for God to enter. His disciples asked, "Who are you to say these things to us?" And Jesus replied, "You do not know who I am from what I say. You have become like those who love the tree but hate its fruit, or love the fruit but hate the tree. Don't just love the message, love the source. Don't worship the form, seek the spirit behind it." True understanding goes beyond appearances, beyond preferences. It requires surrender. Then, one of the most solemn warnings: whoever blasphemes against the Father will be forgiven. Whoever blasphemes against the Son will be forgiven. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, neither on earth nor in heaven. What is the Spirit, if not truth itself? To reject that which awakens, which liberates, which gives life, that is to shut the door from the inside. Not punishment, but consequence. And finally, grapes are not gathered from thorns, nor are figs picked from thistles, for they bear no fruit. If we want life, abundant, eternal, we must plant ourselves in what is real, in spirit, in stillness, in love. The Gospel of Thomas is not about religion. It's about revolution of the soul. It whispers to those who dare to listen. It guides those who are ready to see. These are not just sayings. They are mirrors, keys, seeds, and now they're yours. So take them, hold them, question them, and above all, live them. Because the kingdom is not later. It's not somewhere else. It's here. It's now. It's within you. Jesus said, "A good person brings forth good from the treasure of the heart. An evil person brings forth evil from the same place. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." What we carry inside, love or bitterness, truth or illusion, eventually spills out into the world. To change the world, begin with the heart. And yet he reminds us, from Adam to John the Baptist, no one born of woman is greater than John. But whoever becomes a child will know the kingdom and will be greater than John. This is not about knowledge or status. It's about returning to innocence, to awe, to the eyes of a child who sees the sacred in everything. He warns again, A person cannot mount two horses, nor bend two bows. A slave cannot serve two masters. You must choose the way of truth or the way of distraction, the path of spirit or the path of self. You cannot walk both. And the soul knows when you are divided. If two make peace in one house, he says, they will say to the mountain, move, and it will move. When peace reigns within, the impossible becomes possible. Mountains bow to unity. The world bends to the weight of love. And then this, blessed are the solitary and the elect, for you will find the kingdom. You are from it, and to it you will return. Solitude is not emptiness. It is sacred space. Those who are still enough to hear the whisper of God, those are the ones who remember. If they ask you where you came from, he said, say, we came from the light that became manifest in its own image. If they ask, what is the sign of your Father in you? Say, it is movement and repose, motion and stillness, breath and silence, the rhythm of being, the fingerprint of the divine. Then the disciples asked, when will the rest for the dead take place? And when will the new world come? Jesus answered, what you are waiting for has already come, but you do not recognize it. We look for heaven in the afterlife, for miracles in tomorrow. But the kingdom is now. The new world is already here. We just haven't opened our eyes. He said, recognize what is in front of you, and what is hidden will be revealed. For there is nothing concealed that will not come to light. The Gospel of Thomas doesn't give you a map. It gives you a mirror. It doesn't demand belief. It invites awakening. You won't find dogma here. You'll find fire, questions, light. If you listen deeply, if you dare to see with your soul instead of your eyes, you may realize the kingdom is not far away. The light is not out there. It is within you, and it has been all along. Jesus said, two will rest on a couch. One will die. One will live. Salome asked him, who are you, sir? You have climbed onto my couch, eaten from my table, as if you were from someone I know. And Jesus replied, I am the one who comes from what is whole. I was given from the things of my Father. Then Salome said, I am your disciple. And Jesus answered, that is why I say, if he is dead and she is alive, she will be able to accomplish everything. There is mystery here, but also truth. The divine does not favor strength or status, but surrender. To live is to remain open, to trust, to let go. I disclose my mysteries, Jesus said, to those who are worthy of my mysteries. Not the clever, not the powerful, but the ready, the humble, the listening. And then he tells of a rich man who dreamed of more. I will invest, the man said. I will build, I will store, I will never lack again. But that very night he died. Let those with ears hear. Spiritual truth waits for no one. It does not dwell in storehouses. What matters is not what we plan, but what we live right now. Then Jesus tells a story. A master prepared a feast. He sent his servant to invite the guests, but one was busy with merchants. Another had bought a house. Another was planning a wedding. Another had to collect rent. All excused themselves. And the master said, go into the streets. Bring in whoever you find. Dealers and businessmen will not enter the places of my Father. The kingdom is not for the distracted. It's not for the busy. It's for the willing, for the ones who drop everything to come. And finally, Jesus tells one last parable. A good man had a vineyard. He leased it to tenant farmers. He sent his servants to collect the harvest, but the tenants seized them and beat them. The vineyard is the world. The fruit is love. And the ones who were sent, they are the prophets, the teachers, maybe even you. The Gospel of Thomas is not a scroll of laws. It is a whisper to the soul. It will not comfort you with easy answers. It will disturb you with deep truths. But if you stay, if you listen, if you open, you may find that what you were searching for is not in the sky, not in temples, not even in the words, but in your own heart. The kingdom has no gates, only eyes that are open and hearts that are ready. Jesus told of a vineyard. A man planted it and leased it to tenant farmers. When harvest time came, he sent his servant. They beat him, nearly killed him. So he sent another. They beat him too. Then he said, I'll send my son. Surely they'll respect him. But when they saw the Son, they said, 'This is the heir,' and they killed him. Let anyone with ears listen. Those who carry truth often walk into resistance, but the deeper the opposition, the greater the invitation to endure and awaken. Jesus then said, 'Show me the stone that the builders rejected. That is the cornerstone.' What we cast aside, what seems unworthy, may hold the foundation of everything. The sacred is often hidden in the broken, the rejected, the forgotten, and then a challenge to ritual. If you fast, you bring sin upon yourselves. If you pray, you'll be condemned. If you give to charity, you'll harm your spirit. But when you walk into a village, eat what is given, heal the sick, because it's not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. It's what comes out, words, intentions, judgment. These reveal the truth of your soul. Spirituality is not in performance, it's in presence. It's in love in action. And then to those who suffer, blessed are you when you are hated and persecuted. In every place where they hated you, they'll find no root in you. Even more, blessed are those who have been persecuted within themselves, for they have truly come to know the Father. The deepest transformation does not come from applause. It comes from the silence of struggle, from wrestling with yourself and still choosing love. And then, perhaps one of the most haunting truths of all, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. But if you do not bring it forth, what is within you will destroy you. Your soul is not a thing to hide. It's a light to uncover, a fire to release. Denying who you are is not humility. It is a slow death. And finally, Jesus said, "I will destroy this house, and no one will rebuild it." Not just any house, but the house built on rules without love, on tradition without truth, on rituals without relationship. Because sometimes, the old must fall so that something true can finally rise. This is not a gospel of comfort. It's a gospel of courage. It calls you to leave the familiar, to question what you were taught, to face your own darkness, and still choose light. The Gospel of Thomas is not for the faint of heart. It is for the ones who feel the fire burning inside and are ready to let it blaze. Someone said to Jesus, "Tell my brother to divide our inheritance." But Jesus replied, "Man, who made me a divider among you?" And to his disciples he asked, "Am I a divider?" Material things divide, egos cling, but the soul, if it's to rise, must let go. This world passes, only what is eternal remains. Then he said, "The harvest is great, but the workers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send laborers." The truth is ripe, the world is ready, but those who step forward to carry light are rare. He continued, "Lord, there are many around the drinking trough, but the well is dry. Many gather where truth once flowed, but they do not drink, they do not seek. They only crowd. Only the sincere, those who dig deep, will taste living water." Then Jesus said, "Many are standing at the door, but it is the solitary who will enter the bridal chamber. To step into union with the divine, you must walk alone, not lonely, but undistracted, stripped of noise, of ego, of crowds." And again, he speaks of treasure. The kingdom is like a merchant with goods. He found one pearl of great value. He sold everything just to have it. This is the call. Sell everything that holds your soul back. Pride, fear, comfort, and buy the one thing worth everything, truth. Where moths do not eat, where worms do not destroy, there lies the treasure of God. Jesus then said, "It is I who am the light above all things. From me all came forth. To me all return. Split a piece of wood, I am there. Lift a stone, you will find me there." The divine is not far, not hidden in ritual, not locked in temples, but pulsing in all creation, waiting to be seen. He asked, "Why did you come to the desert? To see a reed shaken by the wind? Or someone dressed in soft clothes like rulers and kings?" They wear soft clothes, but they cannot understand the truth. Truth isn't dressed up. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't shine from crowns or robes. It whispers from the wilderness. And then, from the crowd, a woman cried out, "Blessed is the womb that bore you, and the breasts that nourished you." But Jesus looked deeper. When a woman cried out, "Blessed is the womb that bore you, and the breasts that nursed you," Jesus replied, "Blessed rather are those who have heard the word of the Father and truly kept it. For the days will come when you will say, 'Blessed are the wombs that never conceived, and the breasts that never gave milk.'" He was not rejecting love or family, but he was turning our gaze deeper to what is eternal, to the soul that hears and obeys. Then he said, "Whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass, and whoever finds that carcass, the world is not worthy of them. This world, for all its noise and gold, fades. What you see as treasure will one day rot. So let go. Let the one who is wealthy reign, and the one who has power. Renounce it. True strength is not domination. It is surrender. To reign spiritually is to release earthly thrones." And again, he said, "He who is near me is near the fire. He who is far from me is far from the kingdom." The fire purifies. It does not destroy, but it will consume what is false. To walk with God is to burn. Then a mystery. The images are seen by men, but the light within them remains hidden. In the Father's light, the image will shine, but the image itself will still remain concealed by the light. What glows is not always understood. Divine light hides even as it reveals. To truly see is to let go of the need to define. And he said, "When you see your own likeness, you rejoice. But when you see the images that came before you, which neither die nor become manifest, how much you will have to bear. To see the self, the true self, untouched by ego or time, is to awaken. And awakening is not always comfortable. Adam came into being from great power and great wealth, but he was not worthy of you, for had he been, he would not have tasted death. You are not born of dust alone. You are born of spirit, but you must choose it. You must claim it. And finally, the foxes have holes, the birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Truth is homeless. It has no mansion, no comfort, no place in this world to rest, because it belongs to another. This is not a gospel of safety. It is a gospel of fire. It calls you to leave comfort, question every illusion, and let go of even the ground beneath your feet. Because only when you have nothing left to hold can you truly be held. Jesus said, "Wretched is the body that depends on a body, and wretched is the soul that depends on them both." We cling to flesh, to form, to faces, but the divine lives beyond skin and bone. To awaken, we must see the body as vessel, not as home. He continued, "The angels and the prophets will come to you and give you what is already yours, and you too must give them what you have. Then say to yourselves, when will they come? And take what belongs to them." The deepest truths are already within. What we call revelation is often remembrance, and what we give, insight, love, mercy, returns to us in silence. Jesus asked, "Why do you wash the outside of the cup, but leave the inside unclean?" Ritual means nothing if the heart is rotting. True holiness begins within, in silence, in stillness, in the part of you that no one sees but God. Then he said, "Come to me, for my yoke is easy, and my lordship is gentle, and you will find rest for yourselves." This is not a call to burden. It is a call to lay it down, to stop striving, to come home. Then some said, "Tell us who you are, so we may believe in you." Jesus replied, "You read the face of the sky and the earth, but you do not recognize the one standing before you, and you do not know how to read this moment. We read prophecies, we study signs, but we miss the presence here, now, in the breath between thoughts." And then, something hauntingly gentle, "Seek, and you will find that which you once asked me, and I did not answer. Now I desire to tell you, but you do not ask." Sometimes the doors are open, but we are too distracted to walk through. And finally, a warning. Do not give what is holy to dogs, lest they throw it on the dung heap. Do not cast pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot. Truth is precious. Not everyone is ready to receive it, and not everything sacred should be spoken. You do not need more rituals. You do not need more signs. What you need is stillness, not to worship the light, but to realize you are light. The Gospel of Thomas does not lead you out, it leads you in. And there, if you're quiet enough, you'll find him. Jesus said, "He who seeks will find, and he who knocks will be let in. This path is not for the passive, it is for the persistent. Those who press forward, despite silence, despite darkness, they are the ones who find the door. He then said, "If you have money, do not lend it at interest. Instead, give it to one who cannot pay you back." This is not just generosity, it is freedom from greed, from control, from the illusion that anything we own is truly ours. And again, he taught in parable, "The Father's kingdom is like a woman who hid a little leaven in dough, and it grew into large loaves of bread." The sacred begins small, a whisper, a seed, but when kneaded into the soul, it transforms everything. Then he said, "The kingdom is like someone who sought to kill a powerful man. He drew his sword, struck the bedpost, but missed the mark." Spiritual truth is not easily captured. You cannot rush it. You must be patient, precise, willing to miss and try again. Jesus also said, "The kingdom is like a man who had treasure hidden in his field. He didn't know it. When he died, his son inherited the field, but he too did not know. He sold it, and the one who bought it plowed the land and found the treasure." The kingdom is already within your field, but you must dig. You must disturb the ground, your habits, your fears, your silence, to uncover what was always there. Then they said to him, "Your mother and brothers are outside." But Jesus replied, "Those who do the will of my Father, they are my brothers and my mother. They will enter the kingdom." Family, in the spiritual sense, is not formed by blood, but by alignment, by obedience, by love. They showed him a coin and said, "Caesar demands taxes." Jesus answered, "Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Give God what belongs to God, and give me what is mine." This world has its demands, but the soul, it belongs elsewhere. Spiritual understanding is not found in temples alone, not in coins, not in rituals, but in persistence, in surrender, in silence that listens, and light that finally answers. The Gospel of Thomas leads you not to the end, but to the beginning. Jesus said, "Whoever does not hate father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not love father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. For my mother gave me falsehood, but my true mother gave me life." He was not calling us to reject love, but to transcend it, to let go of all that binds us to flesh alone, so we may live from spirit. And again, he warned, "Woe to the Pharisees. They are like a dog sleeping in the ox's manger, not eating, and not letting the oxen eat either." Religious pride starves the soul. True spiritual leadership feeds others first, or it is nothing. He said, "Fortunate is the one who knows where the thieves will enter, so he may rise, take charge, and arm himself. Guard your soul. The enemy may not wear armor. It may look like comfort, like distraction, like fear." They said to him, "Come, let us fast and pray." But Jesus said, "Why? What sin have I committed? When the groom leaves the bridal chamber, then let the people fast and pray." Ritual without love is hollow, but where love is present, rejoice, live, be whole. Then he said, "Whoever knows the father and the mother will be called the child of a harlot." Because to cling to form, to bloodlines, is to miss the source from which all forms come. And then, the great mystery. When you make the two into one, the inside like the outside, the upper like the lower, and the male and female into a single one, so that male is no longer male and female no longer female, then you will enter the kingdom. This is the unmaking of illusion. This is the collapse of boundaries, not destruction, but return, unity. When you no longer cling to definitions, you become divine. And finally, the kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One, the largest, went astray. He left the 99 and sought the one until he found it. And when he did, he said to the sheep, "I love you more than the 99. That is the heart of God. He leaves the many for the one, and that one might be you. The Gospel of Thomas is not a book. It is a mirror, a sword, a lamp placed in the dark corner of your soul. It is not safe, but it is true. And if you dare to seek, to question, to let go, then you too may hear the voice that whispers, "Split the wood. I am there. Lift the stone. You will find me." The kingdom has never been far. It was never lost. It was always within you. Jesus said, "Whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become him, and the hidden things will be revealed." This is not about belief. It's about transformation. To drink from his words is to dissolve into the source until nothing remains but light. Again he said, "Whoever finds the world and becomes rich, let him renounce the world, because nothing the world gives can compare to what the Spirit awakens." And he said, "The heavens and the earth will be rolled up in your presence, but the one who lives from the living one will not taste death. Whoever finds himself is greater than the world." This is not poetry, it is prophecy. Then, woe to the flesh that depends on the soul, and woe to the soul that depends on the flesh. This is not a battle, it is a reminder. Neither body nor soul is whole without the divine. His disciples asked, "When will the kingdom come?" Jesus answered, "It will not come by waiting. It will not be said, 'Look here,' or 'Look there.' The Father's kingdom is spread across the earth, but people do not see it, because the kingdom is not an arrival. It is a revelation, already here, already within." And then Simon Peter said, "Make Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life." But Jesus said, "I myself will lead her, so that she may become male, so that she too may become a living spirit. For every woman who makes herself male will enter the kingdom." This is not about gender. This is about transcendence. To move beyond role, form, identity, and become one with the eternal. We hope you've been moved by this journey into the lost wisdom of the Gospel of Thomas. Through its 114 sayings, we've encountered a Jesus not clothed in doctrine, but blazing in mystery, not demanding belief, but awakening the soul. This gospel does not ask you to worship. It invites you to see, to seek, to become, to know that the kingdom is not coming, because it never left. It is here, it is now, it is within. So may you leave this moment a little more silent, a little more awake, and just maybe a little more free. Thank you for walking this sacred path with us. We'll see you again, somewhere in the mystery